Why turning 60 is just the beginning of a new chapter. Most people believe that once you turn 60, life begins to slow down. The common picture is of retirement, fading energy, and a narrowing circle of opportunities. But here's the truth. Turning 60 can be the exact opposite. It can be the moment life opens wide, the point where wisdom, experience, and freedom converge into a new beginning. The danger is in believing the lie that this is the end of the road. Stay stuck in that mindset, and you risk spending the next 20 years shrinking into regret. Shift it, and you unlock decades of growth, discovery, and joy. In the next few minutes, you'll see why turning 60 is not the end of your story. It's the spark of a brand new chapter. Why your best years may still be ahead. Life expectancy has changed everything. A century ago, hitting 60 often meant winding down toward the last stage of life. Today, with medical advances, healthier lifestyles, and new opportunities, 60 is closer to the halfway point than the end. Many people live well into their 80s and 90s, which means that when you hit 60, you may very well have 20 to 30 years of vibrant living left. That's more time than the average young adult spends in their entire career. But here's the catch. Most people waste it. They believe the story society tells them, that they're too old to start, too tired to change, too late to matter. The hidden cost of this belief is massive. Decades lost to regret, disengagement, and passivity. Imagine spending your final chapter waiting for it to be over. The urgency is clear. The choices you make at 60 ripple forward, multiplying in impact. Act now, and those decades can become the most fulfilling of your life. When the mirror talks back, picture this. You wake up on your 60th birthday. You walk past the mirror, glance at yourself, and for a moment, you stop. The reflection feels older. Lines on your face speak of laughter and tears. You wonder quietly, is this the beginning of the end? That question haunts many people at 60. I know because I've been there. The fear isn't about wrinkles. It's about relevance. It's about asking if the dreams you never chased are now forever gone. But here's the beautiful part. That mirror moment doesn't have to signal decline. It can spark transformation. One woman I know looked in her mirror at 61 and decided she was done with excuses. She started walking every morning, first for 10 minutes, then 30. Within months, she lost weight, gained energy, and found herself laughing again. The mirror that once made her question her worth became the witness to her rebirth. That's the power of a single decision at 60. The freedom age mindset. Here's the truth most people miss. Your 60s bring freedom no other age can offer. You're not 20 anymore, chasing approval. You're not 40, juggling endless obligations. At 60, you carry wisdom, perspective, and a freedom to choose. This is the freedom age mindset. Understanding that 60 isn't a countdown, but a chance to live on your own terms. Imagine saying, I am not done. I am just beginning with clarity I never had before. That's not a cliche, it's a declaration. To live it, you don't need grand gestures. Start small. Begin with 10 minutes of journaling each morning. Use it to capture gratitude, clarify priorities, and release regrets. Once a week, reach out to one old friend or mentor, someone who adds energy to your life. These micro habits compound into major shifts, and soon, your 60s stop feeling like an ending and start feeling like a new foundation. Wisdom written in scars. By the time you reach 60, you've collected scars, emotional, physical, financial. And while the world might see those scars as signs of aging, they are really your library of wisdom. Think about it. Every failure you've endured has prepared you for resilience. Every setback you've survived has given you strength that someone in their 20s could never understand. One man I knew had a health scare at 62. Instead of sinking into despair, he committed to walking daily, eating cleaner, and attending group fitness. Within a year, his doctors were stunned. He didn't just regain health. He gained an extra decade of vitality. Another story, a woman lost her small business at 60. Instead of seeing it as failure, she started a side project, baking for neighbors. It turned into a small catering company that brought her both income and joy. And there's the story of a widower at 64 who was crushed by loneliness until he chose to volunteer at a local library. In helping others, he found community, purpose, and unexpected happiness. These stories prove that setbacks are not stop signs. At 60, they're the raw material for reinvention, the circle that shapes you. Here's a truth that often gets overlooked. At 60, your relationships matter more than your resume. The people around you either fuel your fire or drain it. If you spend your days with those who say, "You're too old for that," you'll start believing it. But if you surround yourself with dreamers, doers, and encouragers, you'll see possibilities where others see limits. This is the age to curate your circle. Remove toxic voices that drag you down. Invest deeply in those who lift you up. One ritual you can try is Sunday calls. Choose one friend, family member, or mentor you value, and commit to connecting with them every Sunday. Not texting, talking, sharing life, plans, and encouragement. That ritual alone can change your entire outlook. Because when you're 60, it's not your bank account that predicts joy, it's your support system. Rebuilding your days like a new house. At 60, your daily routines are your architecture. Think of your days like a house. If your house is built with weak materials, bad sleep, poor nutrition, no exercise, it will collapse. But if you build with strength, clear identity, solid standards, and empowering routines, you create a home that sustains you. Begin with identity. I am someone who grows stronger with age. Then set standards. No skipping sleep. No neglecting movement. No days without learning. Build routines. Mornings for reflection and planning. Afternoons for activity and connection. Evenings for gratitude and wind down. Track your growth with a simple system. Heavy checkmark for movement. Heavy checkmark for learning. Heavy checkmark for connection. This doesn't just keep you accountable. It shows you proof that you're building a stronger version of yourself daily. Saying yes to discomfort at 60. One of the most dangerous myths about aging is that comfort should be your goal. But comfort is the enemy of growth. At 60, discomfort is your ticket to vitality. That's why I call it the one bold thing daily principle. Do one thing every day that stretches you. It could be as small as learning how to use a new app, or as bold as speaking up in a group when you'd normally stay quiet. One man I know decided to learn piano at 65. At first, it was awkward, frustrating, even embarrassing. But within a year, he could play songs his grandchildren adored. That discomfort didn't shrink him, it expanded him. When you practice discomfort daily, courage becomes your default. Planting trees you won't sit under. At 60, success is no longer about trophies. It's about legacy. It's about planting trees whose shade you may never sit under. That could mean mentoring a younger colleague, teaching your grandchildren values, or serving your community. Legacy isn't about big gestures. It's about impact. A man I knew started mentoring young entrepreneurs at 63. His wisdom saved them years of mistakes. And while he didn't get headlines, he built a ripple effect of success through others. At this age, your effort matters more than ever, not just for you, but for the generations watching. Breaking the excuse loop. Everyone at 60 hears the same excuses in their head. I'm too tired. I'm too old. It's too late. But let's dismantle those lies. Energy doesn't come from rest. It comes from activity. The more you move, the more you gain. Age doesn't erase opportunity. It gives you perspective, connections, and resilience younger people don't have. And as for being too late, some of the world's greatest contributions came after 60. Colonel Sanders started KFC at 65. Grandma Moses began painting in her 70s. Too late is the biggest myth of them all. Your first step? Pick one small action this week that creates momentum. Walk 1 mile. Call one friend. Write one page. Do it, and you'll feel the excuse loop break. The 7/30/90 day new chapter blueprint. This is where inspiration turns into action. Here's your blueprint to make the next 90 days the first proof that your 60s are a new beginning. First 7 days, audit and align. Write down where your time goes each day. Be honest. Identify one draining habit, too much TV, late night snacking, endless scrolling. Remove it. Add 2 energizing habits, morning walk, reading 20 minutes, or journaling. Call one person you've lost touch with. First 30 days, skill and structure. Pick one new hobby or skill. It could be cooking, painting, learning a language, or even mastering technology. Dedicate at least 30 minutes daily. Track progress weekly in a notebook. Establish a daily rhythm. Morning reflection, Midday movement, evening gratitude. First 90 days, big project. Choose one meaningful project, something that excites and scares you. Write a memoir, plan a trip, launch a blog, or start mentoring. Break it into 3 checkpoints. Day 30, start. Day 60, mid-progress. Day 90, completion. Share progress publicly with a friend, group, or even online for accountability. Follow this, and by day 90, you won't just talk about a new chapter, you'll be living it. The fire still burns. Think back to where we began. The myth that life slows down at 60. But now you know better. At 60, you have 2 choices. You can shrink into fear, regret, and excuses, or you can step into growth, freedom, and legacy. One road leads to fading, the other to fire. The fire isn't gone. It's waiting for you to feed it. So repeat this. At 60, I am not closing my story. I am writing my boldest chapter yet. Now it's your turn. What new beginning are you starting at 60 or beyond? Share in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if you want to keep building alongside a community that refuses to let age define them, subscribe and join us. Because here, we don't see 60 as the end. We see it as the spark of something powerful. Together, we'll reimagine what life can look like at every stage.